Hello sweet book besties, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Bri, and this week's reading vlog I am going to be reading only dystopian books. I am in a really dystopian mood. I have been for a few weeks now, ever since I read Daggermouth, which Daggermouth is like a dark dystopian romance. I don't really know if any of the other books I'm going to read this week are going to be like that dark, because that was a little bit graphic, but I liked it, which is odd because usually I don't like that graphic of things. Anyways, we're already getting off topic and this is only the intro of the video, but because I am in such a dystopian mood, I thought it would be fun to read maybe like 3, potentially 4 dystopian books this week. I know I have quite a few on my physical TBR, and just like the past few years there have been so many good new dystopian releases. Like I feel like dystopian books kind of fell off for a while, but they are so back and I could not be more excited for it because I just love the whole dystopian atmosphere. I mean, do I love it? Not always, because sometimes it feels a little too realistic, you know, it's hidden a little bit too close to home for the current state of the world, but we're not gonna overanalyze that right now. So I'm going to bring you along with me throughout the week as I'm reading these dystopian books. As always, like literally all of the content on my channel is going to be spoiler free. I'm going to pick out a book, give you my honest thoughts, reactions, ratings, everything, and hopefully we find some good books this week. The first one I'm going to start with for a few different reasons. 1, because it has been on my physical TBR the longest, and 2, it is a new release that just came out, so I think it would be fun to read right now. And that is To Cage a Wild Bird by Brooke Fast. This, I think, is like somewhat of a dark dystopian, but again, I don't think it's gonna be as dark as Daggermouth. It says, in the city of Davidium, the law is simple. Commit a crime and your punishment is a life sentence in Enlock. Raven Thorne is Davidium's most notorious bounty hunter, living on the edge of society, but when her younger brother Jed is sentenced to Enlock, Raven will do anything to save him, even if it means getting herself arrested. Now trapped in a prison where danger lurks around every corner, Raven must use all her cunning and strength to protect Jed and herself if she is to complete her perilous mission. But there's one obstacle she never expected: the prison guard who stirs something deep inside her, the man she should hate, the man whose true motives seem impossible to pin down. In a world where trust is a weapon and love is a liability, Raven must decide if she will risk everything to tear down a vicious system. So the reason why Enlock is like so dangerous, other than it literally being a prison, is because the wealthy get to hunt the prisoners for sport. A little messed up, definitely a little dark, but we'll see how graphic it is. I'm so excited for this. My best friend Caitlin just read it like last month I think, and she loved it, so I'm hoping I love it just as much as her. I am super excited to get into this, and even though dystopian books are kind of like, you know, they're kind of like supposed to take place in our world, I feel like they're really easy for me to kind of like take myself out. They've just always been so immersive for me. Like since I was a younger reader in middle school, I have always loved dystopian books. Divergent, The Hunger Games, Selection, like those are some of my favorite books of all time that I read when I was younger, and they have just like stuck with me. They're just a great escape. So let's start To Cage a Wild Bird. I'm nervous but so excited. Yeah, I'm in bed, don't judge me. This little bed bug was literally crying, meowing, wanting snuggles, so I could not deny her. So we have been snuggling. I started To Cage a Wild Bird, yesterday? And I'm about halfway through, so I thought I would just pop in with a little update. Maybe not like I mean, I guess it's an update, but basically just to tell you the gist about the book. So we are following the female main character, Raven. She has always grown up in like the lower sector of basically this government, the world that they're living in. Kind of reminds me of the Hunger Games, like with the different districts. So like obviously there's the capital, and then District 1 is like the next wealthiest and so on. Like you get to District 12 and they are poor. Basically there's like different sections of this society as well. So you have like the higher, the middle, and the lower. So she is basically like raising her brother, which her brother is 18 now, but she has been raising him for several years because her parents were arrested and taken to this prison and then passed away. Because in this prison, then like the wealthy people of society can hunt you for sport if you're a prisoner. And that's like how the prison makes a lot of its money, is these wealthy people paying to hunt the inmates. Oh my gosh, I have to show you Spice. She's so freaking cute. Look at, she tucked her head under. I love her so much. Sorry for that brief interruption. She's just too freaking cute not to show. Anyways, Raven has been raising her brother ever since her parents were taken as prisoners to Endlock. And she's doing whatever she can to get by, which includes being a bounty hunter. So basically criminals, like people, want to catch them so that they can turn in the criminals to the prison, and then they get paid for turning in these criminals. So Raven is a bounty hunter and she does that, and she like does not feel great about doing it, but she'll do anything for her brother, and this is making money for her to be able to support her and her brother. So her brother actually ends up getting arrested and sentenced to life in prison at Endlock. And Raven, like I said, she'll do anything for her brother, so she also ends up getting herself arrested so that she can try to break her brother out of this prison before it is too late. And in doing so, she makes friends, kind of, not really friends, but acquaintances with one of the prison guards, and she actually does, like, before she even finds out her brother's arrested. Like, she's just having a night out on the town and she meets this prison guard. Things are a little flirty, a little spicy. Then she finds out that he's a guard and she wants nothing to do with him because she hates this government, she hates this society, she wants nothing to do with any of the people like running it and working for it. But then when she's also in prison, this prison guard that she met a while ago, his name is Vale, he is kind of helping her because not a lot of people in this prison like her because she has turned in several of them into this prison. And now we're just like in the prison and she is meeting all these other people and trying to like come up with a plan to break everyone out of this prison. I think this book is going very, very well. I was loving the beginning of it. Like the first 100 pages, I was like, yes, I was flying through. But now, like, just as time continues to go on in the prison, I feel like it's quite repetitive, so it's slowed down for me a bit, but it's still good. Like, they're still trying to devise a plan and, like, go through this plan and try to have things go off without a hitch. And she's actually, like, making friends with people and, you know, forming relationships with other prisoners that she meets there. I'm scared for, like, when another hunt comes up that she's in or that like some of the friends are in, because I'm just scared for everyone's safety at this point. I'm scared for her brother. I want more romance between her and Vale. Like I want that to ramp up a little bit more. But it's going good overall. It's definitely very, very captivating right off the bat. So hopefully it starts to pick back up again for my taste. But I am really, really liking it. I don't know. I want to try and finish it today. We will see how that goes. But maybe I will see you back with a final update because it's not too long. It's like 300 some pages, so really not terrible. So hopefully I will finish this soon. All right, literally just finished To Cage a Wild Bird 30 seconds ago. This was such a bingeable read, which I feel like is exactly what I needed right now. Just like something to kind of get my mind off of things going on and just like be totally immersed in a story. And that's exactly what this book was. I mean, it did slow down a little bit for me in the middle, but it wasn't like enough for me to want to put the book down and not really continue it. Like I still wanted to see where the story was going to go from there and how these characters were going to pull off escaping from this prison. So like it definitely had me intrigued enough, even if I don't even think I can say I was bored at times, because it was not like full-blown boredom. I was just like kind of patiently waiting for the plot to pick back up a little bit again, which is also interesting to me because as of lately I have not been loving like super plot heavy and plot driven books. I've really just been loving kind of slower moving character driven books. So for me to be totally wrapped up in this book and like not able to put it down for the past, I don't know, 3 hours, safe to say it had my attention. And this is a very plot heavy book. Like there is a lot of action in this book, which once again I just have not really been enjoying as much lately. So for this book to be able to get me to enjoy something that I have not been enjoying as much, I think the writing is top notch. Also, the spice. I'm kind of picky with my spice. I'm not a huge like spicy book lover. Like I don't mind it. Like I would never judge someone if they liked spicy books. I just prefer my books to be less spicy. So I knew going into this that it was an adult dystopian romance. So I was like, okay, there's probably gonna be spice if it's adult. And there was some spice, but I think the spice was done so well. Like in some books, if I just do not vibe with the spice, I will literally just like skip to the end of the chapter when the spice scene is over, right? Actually, like if the spice doesn't really have to do with the plot. But I'm gonna be honest, you guys, the spice in this book, I was not looking away, okay? I wasn't skipping ahead to the end. I wanted to see it through, okay? And I feel like that says a lot about how well it was written. I don't know. Oh my gosh. I was just looking at this author. I was like, I don't know what other books this author has written. This is her first book. I am so impressed because this was so well written, again, to kind of get me to fall in love with some things that I do not normally love that much. I also was very attached to all of the characters, and there's multiple side characters, and I feel like sometimes in books, if there's multiple side characters, I just don't care about them at all because we're not really able to focus on them and get to know them enough. But once again, the author did an amazing job making us connect with all those side characters and really come to care about them and what is happening to them. Wow, I'm blown away right now, honestly. I think I'm gonna go with a 4-star rating. I was getting so stressed out for our characters, like Raven, her brother, Vale, all the side characters as well. Like I was getting so stressed out reading about them because they're trying to break out of this prison, and obviously it's very dangerous. I mean, this is already a very deadly prison, and trying to break out of it, yeah, that's gonna be deadly as well. So I was extremely worried about them, like the last few chapters. Also, so many like puzzle pieces being put together the last few chapters that my mind was just blown by those. Some really sad moments, some really sweet moments. The end, oh my gosh, I was like swooning, but it's also kind of sad. I don't know. Obviously, like I'm not going to spoil anything, so I have to be kind of vague. But I really liked this. I need book 2 now. When is book 2 coming out? So book 2 doesn't come out until February 2027. Okay. I love any book that, I should specify maybe a dystopian book where they are trying to overthrow the government. So now I'm gonna have to choose another dystopian book to start. I'm kind of sad, like, that I finished A Cage of Wild Bird. I wish there was more for me to read. Like, the 350 pages was not enough. I want a longer book. I think that's definitely going to stick with me a little bit. But I am going to choose the next read for this vlog. Alrighty, it is a few days later. I started a bit of the commons yesterday. I'm like 100 pages in. Hello, hello, can you see that? There you go, now you can see it. To be honest, I'm not vibing with this book, and also I feel like it's kind of confusing because from reading the synopsis, this is supposed to be like a dark academia dystopian, which, like, yes, those vibes are kind of there. I honestly wouldn't even say like dark academia. Like, it takes place in an academic setting, but it's not like overly dark, at least not yet. But from what I gathered from reading the synopsis, this is supposed to take place in a dystopian world where you want to be like common and like fit in with society by being common. You don't want to like overachieve, you don't want to underachieve. You want to be on that common ground, and the whole book like takes place at the Commons, which is this school, but then you get to the school and it's for like extremely gifted overachievers. So I'm like, why, what is happening? Because I thought the whole thing was our main character that we're following is supposed to be like super duper smart, but she goes to the Commons to try and find her sister, and she tries to like just fit in and be common, but she can't because she's way smarter than everyone else. But like, no, everyone there is extremely smart and extremely gifted. So I'm like, literally, why is the synopsis giving us a different story than what the whole premise of the book actually is? And right off the bat, I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. You guys know I don't like dwelling on the negatives. I like spreading positivity, not negativity. Right off the bat though, like first chapter in, I was just not vibing with the writing. It seems very, I don't know if like juvenile comes to mind, because I feel like it's literally talking how like a high schooler would talk. It just feels very, very underdeveloped. Like, I was just talking about, why can I not think of the book title? To Cage a Wild Bird. Like, I was just talking about that and saying how I'm so impressed that it is a debut novel because of the way the author writes. But like with this one, you can almost tell that the author is more inexperienced. And I don't want to say that in a bad way, because I think there would be a lot of people who would enjoy this writing style because it sounds like a real like person, a younger person talking. You know, it could even be someone like around my age, in my 20s. So I don't want to bash that the writing style is bad or anything. It's just all very subjective. It's just not a writing style that I myself really enjoy reading. And I knew that right from the first chapter. I did want to give this book its fair shot. You know, I always had this teacher in like middle school and high school. She was an English teacher, and she always said to give a book at least 50 pages before you decide whether you're gonna put it down or not. So I am on page 107, about a third way through the book. I think it's a little over 300 pages. And I am deciding to DNF this, unfortunately. I'm just not vibing with the writing style. I'm not vibing with the plot. Again, I feel like it's kind of confusing because you have two different things. Like, the synopsis is telling you one thing, but then reading the actual book is telling you another. So I think I went into it with false expectations based on the synopsis. I don't think this book comes out for a while, honestly. I think sometime in September. So I am by no means telling you, like, do not read this book, it's a bad book. Like, it is all subjective. You might really enjoy this book. So if it sounds kind of interesting to you, this girl is going to the commons. She doesn't want to go to the commons because it is like this very, very prestigious school, but her sister went to the commons and she thinks there's something fishy going on at this school. So she kind of wants to like go there to save her sister. But it is a very, very cutthroat school. Like I said, like you have to be top notch. You have to be the smartest of smart people in the world, which like, why is it called the commons then? I don't know. But yeah, I'm just not enjoying my time reading it as of right now. I don't know if I might pick it back up at some point and try again, but honestly, I'm probably leaning toward no, just because I know the writing of this book and I know I'm not a huge fan of the writing itself. So unfortunately, we're putting that book down, but the book that I am picking up that I know my best friend will be very excited about is Silver Elite by Danny Francis. This is another dystopian romance, and this one came out, I want to say like May of last year, and I'm pretty sure the sequel comes out May this year. So this one says, psychic gifts are a death sentence and there are rules to survival. Trust no one, lie to everyone, and whatever you do, don't fall for your greatest enemy. This is a hefty book, so I'm really excited to get into it because again, like when I was talking about To Cage a Wild Bird, I was like, I want more of it. So this is like 500 pages, so definitely getting a bit more content than these other dystopians I've been reading. And I shouldn't have to wait that long for the sequel if I end up loving this. Also, this cover is so cool. I love it. I know this dystopian was very, very hyped when it came out last year, so I'm finally hopping on the bandwagon. I'll probably start this later tonight. My husband and I just have a fun little date day planned, so we're gonna leave for that. I'm also gonna be filming like a different video while we're out as well, so stay tuned for that video. But I'll see you with an update after I start a little bit of this. I am about 50% of the way through Silver Elite, and I'm not gonna lie, up until this point, it's been a little bit of a slow crawl, really building up the plot, but now I finally think we're getting to the good stuff, so let's talk about it. This book follows 20-year-old Ren, which also, can we just talk about the fact, like, where it gets to the point where you are older than the main characters of a book. I have not experienced that a lot, but lately it's becoming more prevalent because I feel like so many of the female main characters of books these days, especially like in fantasies, are like late teens, early 20s. And now being 23, I feel like I am literally older than all of the characters I read about, and that's kind of scary. So it is so crazy to think that this female main character is 3 years younger than me. Mainly just because like she's so bad. I don't know if I can say that word on YouTube, so you know what I mean though. So this is a dystopian book. We are taking place, I'm pretty sure it's like America, but obviously in a dystopian America. And in this world, there are like these mods. And basically that just means that like a person has these kind of magical abilities. Like Ren, she herself is a mod. She is very, very powerful, but she hides this because in this dystopian time they're living in, it is outlawed to be a mod and you will be executed if you are one. So her whole life, Ren has been hiding the fact that she is a mod. She has been living with her uncle. Her parents died when she was young, so this guy basically like adopted her, and he has been training her whole life, like how to protect herself against this society who wants her dead. And she has just like kind of grown up working with the rebellion that's brewing. Now Ren Ren's uncle has been killed, and she is trying to get back at the people who killed him, which are like the leaders of the country basically. She has been sent off to basically train with the people that she despises, the people that are literally trying to kill mods. Yeah, she's been sent to train with them, and that's where we are. But now she is like really trying to train to basically like sabotage them and overthrow them for this rebellion that she's working with. So it's finally kind of getting to that part. Like, I knew that's what the book was about, but we're finally getting there. And I get that you have to like build up the world and build up the plot and build up like all these characters and what's going on. And there are like a lot of different mods, like a lot of different abilities that these mods will have. So it's like, yeah, you need to keep them straight and stuff. But I think now that I've gotten to this point, I'm just gonna want to binge it because it's getting so good. I love Ren. I love like her trying to overthrow this government, but she still has to be very careful. She has to hide who she is. She has to hide her powers. She literally can't trust no one. Like, she's kind of forming friendships here, but like she still can't trust these people because they could turn it on her at any moment if they find out that she's a mod. So she's just living like kind of a very lonely, sad life right now. She's devastated about losing her uncle, and she does not want to be training with these people that are literally against her. But she's trying to do what she can to help out the rebellion. And there is a very grumpy, what is he, a commander? I do not know like military rank. Is that bad? Yeah, commanding officer. Okay. See, I was onto something. So very grumpy commanding officer that they do not like each other, but there's definitely attraction, so I don't know. I'm excited to see what comes from that. I have definitely still been enjoying it to this point, but like I said, it has been a little bit slow and like a little bit hard for me to get into. I haven't been like, oh my god, I need to pick up Silver Elite, but now it's to the point where I'm like, oh my god, I need to pick up Silver Elite. So I'm gonna keep reading away at this for as long as I can today. I will see you if something crazy happens, or I'll see you at the end of this book, which something crazy will probably happen. I finished Silver Elite and holy crap. This book blew me away. Like the last 50% of this book, yeah, it had me in a chokehold. I thought there was like a huge plot twist. I don't know when that was, maybe around like 75% of the way through the book. No, then we literally get hit with another plot twist the last chapter, and then also the last page. Oh my god, Danny Francis, take my money because I need book 2 immediately. Like, when does it come out? I think it's in May. I'm pretty sure it's in May. So like a month. I don't know if I can wait a month because okay. I loved Ren's character. I just love, like, once again, that bad, you know what, female main character in fantasy books and like dystopian books. Like, I love it. Don't give me like a frail little girl who has no idea what she's doing. Like, no. Give me someone who knows what she's doing. This in the best way gives Divergent with like Triss and Four, and then in this book we have Ren and his name is Cross. That's the commanding officer that she does not like, but they're very, very attracted to each other. And also just like the way that this government works and controls everyone, and I don't know, it definitely gives Divergent vibes, but like it's still its own thing. I think just because Divergent is one of my favorite dystopian series of all time, and whenever I read another dystopian book, I always just have Divergent like in my mind. I feel like this has come the closest to what Divergent is for the dystopian books that I've read, and I am all here for it. It is pretty spicy. Like, I was not expecting that much spice, but like once you get to that 50% point, whoa. But like once again, it's good spice, just like To Cage a Wild Bird. Okay, one thing I do want to not really complain about, I guess, but point out, why in so many dystopian books is the female main character's name Ren? Or something to do with a bird. Like, in To Cage a Wild Bird, it was Raven. Now in Silver Elite, her name is Ren, but Cross calls her Dove. Yes. I haven't even told you what the rest of the book is about. Ren is just kind of the working on the inside, you know, she's working for like the uprising and the revolution, but like she's also on the bad guys team, like in this training that she's doing. It's basically like their military, like that's what she's in, but she's still like communicating with people on the outside in the rebellion to kind of work against them. But then there's some crazy reveals that literally did not see coming. So many crazy reveals that I did not see coming, and I love that. I love when a book can blindside me. Like, it's just the best feeling, honestly. Like, I don't like being able to guess what is going to happen. I like being blindsided. Is this a perfect book? No, but I had a fantastic time with this. I feel like this is exactly what I wanted in a dystopian book. And once again, I was talking about this with To Cage a Wild Bird as well, is I have not been into super like action-packed books lately. But this book, so much action, but I'm like into it. And I don't know if that's just like dystopian, like dystopian's able to do that for me, but I was loving it. I'm gonna give this a 4.5 star rating. The only reason why I'm really holding it back from being a 5-star is just because like up to that 50% point, I was not like totally invested. If that would have also like had my attention and kept it super high the whole way through that first 50%, yes, this would be a 5-star. But I do think it's a little bit slow to get into. But also this is going to be a series. I'm not sure how many books, but obviously you do need world building for that. You need to build up the characters, you need to build up the world, you need to build up the plot and all this stuff. Like, obviously, yes, you need to build it up. I just wish we could have built it up a little bit faster, because like this is a big book. This is 500 pages, so for 250 pages of it to be a bit slow, in my opinion, yeah, it's gonna get some points knocked off, but not that much, because you know what? The last 50% of this book did it for me. Read it in one sitting, could not put it down. Actually, I would say I read probably 60% of this in one sitting. Please let me know your thoughts on this book if you've read it, because I feel like it's pretty divided, honestly. I feel like when this came out, that is one of the reasons I kind of stayed away from it, because people either loved it or hated it, and I was like, that's too stressful for me. But boy, did I love it. I'm so glad I finally read it, but I'm glad like I read it right before book 2 comes out, because I don't know how I would have waited a year for book 2, but now I'm scared because I'm like, book 2 is probably also going to end on a huge cliffhanger, so then I'll have to wait a year. Oh, but this was amazing. Amazing, at least in my opinion. So you know what? We had a pretty good week of reading dystopian books. A 4-star rating and a 4.5-star rating. Like, I loved these books. Obviously the Commons, I DNF'd that, was not really vibing with it, but I'm not gonna give it a rating because I didn't finish it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you got some book recs out of it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. It helps me more than you know. Subscribe to my channel, obviously, if you want to see more of my content. I post twice a week, so I will see you back very, very soon with another video.